The church smelled of lilies and old wood. Mourners in black filled every pew, their whispers folding into the soft hum of the organ. 18-year-old Lila Carson stood at the front, clutching a photo of her father, David Carson, beloved businessman, cherished husband, devoted father. At least, that's who she thought he was. The service ended, and as people began to file out, Lila's eyes caught a flicker of movement in the last row. A woman in a navy dress sat with 2 children, a boy and a girl, both younger than 12. The woman's eyes, rimmed in red, locked with Lila's for a long, unsettling moment. Something told Lila she wasn't just another mourner. Curiosity, or maybe instinct, pushed Lila down the aisle. When she stopped before them, the woman rose slowly. "I'm sorry for your loss," the woman said, her voice low, trembling. I'm Elise, David's wife." Lila blinked. "His what?" The woman gave a soft, apologetic smile. "We've been married for 14 years. She rested a hand on the boy's shoulder. "These are our children, Jack and Emily." Lila's heart punched against her ribs. "That's not possible. He was married to my mother for 20 years. A tense silence hung between them. Elisa's eyes shimmered with unshed tears. "I know. I didn't expect this. I wasn't even sure I should come. But they needed to say goodbye to their father." Lila shook her head, stepping back as if the truth itself might strike her. "You're lying. You have to be lying." Elise opened her purse and pulled out a worn photograph. Her father, smiling at a beach, holding the 2 kids, with Elise by his side. The time stamp in the corner read, "Last summer." "I didn't know about you until yesterday," Elise whispered. "I thought I was the only one." The world tilted. What followed was a whirlwind Lila could barely hold on to. Her father, the man who'd kiss her forehead every morning and called her his little girl, had been living a double life. Weekdays in Chicago with Lila's family, weekends on business trips in Milwaukee with Elise and their kids. 2 mortgages, 2 sets of anniversaries, 2 lives built on carefully crafted lies. The media found out within days. The double life scandal of a respected businessman exploded online. Her mother collapsed into a shell of silence. Elise's quiet suburban life imploded. And Lila raged. At him, at Elise, at the world. Until one afternoon, when Elise came to see her alone. "I found this," Elise said, handing over a sealed envelope with Lila's name on it, in her father's familiar scrawl. He left it with his lawyer just in case. Lila opened it with shaking hands. Inside was a single-page letter. "My dearest Lila, by the time you read this, I'll be gone, and there will be truths you never asked for, and pain I never meant to cause. You were my first miracle, the daughter I never deserved. I built 2 lives because I couldn't bear to lose either. And in the end, I lost both. I wish I'd been a better man. But I will never stop loving you. Forgive me, Dad." The words blurred as tears welled in her eyes. For the first time since the funeral, Lila didn't feel anger. She felt hollow, a liar, a cheat, a coward, but still her father. And as she looked at Elise, standing quietly by the door, she realized they shared something no one else could understand, the heartbreak of loving a man who betrayed them both. Without thinking, Lila whispered, "Do you want to get some coffee?" Elise gave a small, surprised nod. "I'd like that." It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't friendship. But it was a start. And in the wreckage of lies, sometimes the start is everything. They sat in a quiet corner of a downtown cafe. 2 women linked by the same ghost. Lila wrapped her hands around a chipped mug, staring at the steam curling into the air. Elise stirred her coffee, silent. For a while, neither spoke. Finally, Lila broke the hush. "How did you meet him?" Elise's lips pressed together before she answered. "At a charity fundraiser, 15 years ago. I was just out of college. He said he was separated, that things were complicated." She gave a humorless laugh. "I believed him. I loved him. By the time I realized he'd been lying, I was pregnant with Jack." Lila swallowed hard. "And you stayed?" Elise nodded. I stayed because I thought if I left, I'd ruin my kids' lives. And part of me hoped, I don't know, that I could make him choose me. A raw pain twisted in Lila's chest. I spent 18 years thinking I was his only daughter. I thought he'd do anything for me. God, I even blamed my mom sometimes when he wasn't around. I thought it was her fault he worked so much. Elise's eyes softened. I blamed myself for a long time, too. She hesitated. You know, Jack and Emily don't know everything. They think your dad worked far away. They didn't even know he had another family until last week. Lila stared at her. They didn't know about me? Elise shook her head. I didn't want to tell them. I thought I was protecting them. For the first time, Lila didn't feel anger. She felt sad. For herself. For Elise. For the kids who'd lost their father, without ever knowing who he really was. I don't know how to hate you, Lila whispered. I want to, but I don't. Elise gave a small, trembling smile. I don't know how to hate you either. They sat there, two women mourning the same man in different ways, both picking at the ruins of their lives. And then Elise said something Lila would never forget. You know, maybe we don't have to be the story he left behind. Maybe we can write something else. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't forgetting. But it was a choice. In the months that followed, their paths crossed again. At the lawyer's office, at the probate hearings, once even in the grocery store aisle. Awkward at first. But slowly, something shifted. Jack started writing letters to Lila. Emily drew her pictures. And one sunny afternoon, Lila found herself sitting in a park, watching them play next to Elise. Not sisters, not friends, but maybe something in between. They shared a man who'd built a life on lies, but together they would build something he never gave them, the truth. And somehow that was enough to begin again. As summer melted into fall, Lila realized some wounds didn't close with time. They closed with truth, with acceptance, and sometimes with unexpected allies. She would never get her father back, never hear his voice or feel his arms around her. But in the ashes of everything he destroyed, something unexpected bloomed. A fragile, honest connection between two women who should have hated each other, but chose not to. On what would have been her father's birthday, Lila sent Elise a simple text. I'm glad you came to the funeral. Seconds later, the reply came. So am I? And with that, Lila smiled. Not because it fixed everything, but because it proved one thing. The truth may shatter lives, but it can also build something real. And this time they would build it together.